We are a little late to the party with this Riviera Maya trip recap, but it's about time we sat down and talked about it, so let's get into it. Hi, I'm Jennifer, your cruise bestie. Back in December, some friends and I took our first Virgin Voyages cruise, and we have been obsessed ever since. We went on Scarlet Lady out of Miami, so we're gonna just go over everything that we liked, disliked, things we did, things we didn't get a chance to do that we're planning on doing for our Valiant Lady trip this September, and things that we hope to see in the future on some Virgin Voyages ships. So embarkation day started off super smooth. We stayed at the Element in Brickell. It was really great because flying in from the West Coast, I got in around 8 o'clock, somewhere around there. And actually I think it was a little bit earlier. And it was great timing because my friends had come in the day before and had already explored Miami, and so I was able to just get there, settle in, and go get dinner, go to sleep, and get on the ship the next morning. So it made my first day there really easy. I didn't like that I didn't get to explore Miami much. So this time around, I'll be going in a little bit earlier, so I do have some time to wander and explore a little bit and get outside of the hotel. But the Element is attached to the AC hotel in Brickell. They're literally like one level is the Element, one level is the AC. They share a bar, they share a lobby. So, and then on top they have it's a restaurant, but it turns into like a nighttime club kind of situation. So we went up there and had some appetizers and drinks for dinner, and it was really nice. You got to see a rooftop view of the Miami skyline. It was really cool. So the day of embarkation, we ended up doing breakfast at the hotel because why would you not do your included breakfast? And we had a bottle of champagne that we needed to get through because we couldn't bring it on the ship. So we ended up just drinking it down by the pool at our hotel. So we checked out, early, and were able to like get in and sit by the pool until it was time for us to go. We ended up heading over to the terminal around 11. Our boarding time wasn't until, mine was at 2:30. I think my friends were at 2, somewhere around there. So we ended up going around 11, dropping off our luggage with the porters, and then ended up taking an Uber, but there is the free shuttle there that takes you over to Bayside. So we went and explored Bayside a little bit and went to Bacon Bitch, which I think is a little overrated. I don't think it's one that you necessarily have to go to, but if you're just looking for something to eat, it's there. Kind of depends on the vibe you're going for before you get on your cruise. But it was fun to walk around and see that part of town before we got on the ship. So then we ended up heading back around 1:30 to get in line, and here's a video of this is driving up to the terminal, what you'll see. And so with my friends boarding before me, I wasn't sure that I was gonna be able to get on at the same time as them, but because we were so close, they ended up letting me go in. There was no line, no wait, we just walked right in. So once you walk into the terminal, it was very quick. Again, there was no lines outside and no lines inside either. So we just walked up the escalators, and right when you walk in, there's, you kind of walk through the chairs and the waiting area if you do have to wait, and went straight up to the counter. We're able to get our rooms super quick. I don't think it took more than 5 minutes. I was genuinely shocked because at the time, I was used to Carnival, where we end up sitting there, we go in at our designated time in the morning and we sit there for an hour, even with Faster Than the Fun. So this was like night and day difference compared to what I'm used to on other cruise lines. One thing that I have heard has changed since our last sailing was that if you try to get in before your boarding time, they will not let you in. They are being a little bit more strict on that. I am very curious this time around because our friends that we're going with have early boarding, and I don't, which is ironic considering they bought it from me. But we don't have early boarding, so because there's a 2.5 hour time difference between when our friends get on and when we get on, we probably won't be able to go in at the same time as them. So I'm not even gonna try it, but it's just something to know. Try to get on as early as you can because you are gonna be wanting to connect to that Wi-Fi once you get inside the terminal to try and book your classes, book your different things on board. The sooner you can get on, the better. When you're entering the terminal, here's a clip of when we were walking in, we were walking onto the ship from the terminal. They really try to match your energy as far as when you're, because like they want to make you excited to get on the ship. And as you can see, my friend Tara here, she is wild. And she and I both were just like having a blast getting on the ship. We had prepared ourselves and watched so many videos and like hyped it up so much in our heads that we were just like in shock. And I was telling her the other day, I almost kind of blacked out the entire cruise because I was so excited and it was such a blur. And it was so much fun. So I'm excited to go a second time to see how different it is from what I remember. But they really do match your energy. So like if you're just walking on and you're not hyped up like Tara was when you're walking in, they're not gonna sit there and try and make you dance and like, you know, get all in your face and excited. They really wanna make sure everybody's comfortable when they're getting on the ship. So because we dropped our bags off with the porters around 11, by the time we got on the ship, it wasn't very long before our bags showed up at our rooms. So we were able to get on, you know, get settled with our carry-ons and then go and explore a little bit, get some drinks, and then come back to our room and unpack and do what we needed to do. The first thing we did when we got on was do our safety video and muster station. So obviously you all have seen, if you've been watching Valiant Lady or Scarlet Lady vlogs for a while, you've seen the safety video, but I put a little clip in here. This is such a unique way to do a safety training. I love it personally because I like having music on in the room. So it's fun to like get in there and multitask doing the safety video while I'm unpacking. And it's memorable. Like you remember the things that you're supposed to know because it's being given to you in a different format than it typically would. You know, sitting on an app and scrolling through and being like, yes, I understand this. Yes, I understand that. Like some of the other cruise lines do. I'm not gonna remember all these things when I'm 15 drinks in on a Wednesday. So it's just a unique experience. Because we were on a holiday sailing, we left on a Sunday, but it was the beginning of December. So they were doing a lot of holiday themed activities and menus and drinks and things like that. And in our cabins, we all got these ornaments and a little holiday card and all of these different things. So that was like a nice little added touch that was added to our room. I still have the ornaments. They were a set of 2 nutcrackers. They don't open, but they're super cute. And it's a great way to commemorate my first trip on Virgin. So once we got settled in our rooms, we ended up going to the dock house for a quick snack before sail away. I was able to get this clip of the Miami port and downtown Miami from the back of the ship, which was really cool. They have great food, great snacks. It's a nice little quiet area to chill before the craziness of the sail away party. Make sure before the sail away party, the sail away starts around 4:30, 5 o'clock, depending on your sailing and what's going on and the time of year. So make sure you get there early because they do cast introductions for the happenings cast and they, you know, do a little ceremonial thing before they actually take off. So we ended up going and getting a daybed by the pool. For when that happened, we got there right away, so we were able to snag one and sat there for all the introductions. And then once the introductions were done and they started playing the music and doing the dancing, we ended up going up to the top deck to watch the actual sail away, which was really cool to see the skyline at night in the dark. And then for dinner that first night, we went to Gun Bay. I didn't get many clips of Gun Bay, but the food was great. We ended up having our server just recommend a few dishes to us, and we had the people that we were paired with we had a few picky eaters, not picky, but they had some dietary restrictions, and only 2 of us wanted to play the drinking games. So it was a bit of a different experience, but it was still great. And I'm excited to go back this time around and see how it's different. Maybe we'll have a bigger group of people to do it with. We did go towards the end of the night, a little bit later, so I think that kind of has a different feel too. There wasn't many people in there, but it was still great. A lot of fun. A lot of soju was drank. And then after dinner at Gun Bay, we had the PJ party. This was probably my number 2 thing of embarkation day. Definitely don't miss out on the PJ party, especially if you're a solo cruiser or you're a couples cruiser. Like, this is where you're gonna meet a ton of people. Most of the people that we hung out with the rest of the week, we met at the PJ party, and they're actually cruising with us on our next cruise. So it was a lot of fun. And as you can see, we had a little too much fun. The next day was a sea day for us, and because of the long day of drinking we had the day before, it was a little rough. So we ended up just chilling by the pool for a bit and tried to let that wear off. And I was still adjusting to the time change, so that was definitely hard on me. So we just took it easy during the day, and that's kind of one of the things I like the most about Virgin compared to the other cruise lines is they don't do a lot during the day. There's not going to be a lot of planned events that you feel like you need to race around and go to. You can just take it easy, go get a spa treatment, go sit by the pool. The one thing I will say about the pool is there's not a lot of chairs, so if you do want a day bed, make sure you get out there early. But then in the afternoon, we went and did tea time at the Sip Lounge, which was super cute. I'm not a tea drinker, so it wasn't really my thing, but it was still a fun experience and something to try once. They do have an option that comes with champagne, which I probably, had I not been hungover, would have done. And if we were to do it again, I would definitely do this time. But you get a lot of really cute, like, tea time snacks. They bring over, you know, a little box of tea for you to choose which one you want with a few different types in it. So if you're into that kind of thing, definitely check that out on your sailing. I think they do it every day in the late afternoon, so keep your eye out for that. We also did the boy band dance class on this day, so I'll put a couple clips in here, but it's just something fun to do in the afternoon. They just teach you like a section of Bye Bye Bye, which is kind of funny. I didn't participate, I just watched Tara do it because I was not feeling great. So yeah, this time around I will be doing it because I felt like I missed out and I was super jealous. For dinner that night, we went to Pink Agave, which was my favorite restaurant. I don't think it was everybody else's, but it was my favorite. Our server there was just the best. He took such good care of us and made us our favorite drink that the rest of the cruise, we kept going back to Pink Agave to get just this drink because we couldn't get it anywhere else. They didn't make it the same. So the food was phenomenal. We went late at night, so we were there for Pink Agave after dark, and which was fun because they bring, you know, a round of shots out to everybody that wants one, and they have a DJ come in, and it's a unique experience, I think. So definitely gets you in the mood for your port day the next day if you are going to Cozumel. After Pink Agave, we had the dance party in the Manor. We noticed that the dance parties throughout the week progressively got less and less people. So I'm curious to see how that changes on our next trip. But this one was packed because it was the first one of the trip outside of the PJ party. The PJ party was outside, so this was the first event in the Manor. And it was packed to the brim and super fun, great entertainment, great music. So definitely make sure you check that out on the first full night. The next day was our day in Cozumel, and we decided to not get off the ship because most of us had seen Cozumel before. We kind of regretted that because we should have just gone to Mr. Sancho's, but it is what it is. If we go again next time, we're gonna go to Mr. Sancho's. That's where everyone ends up going, and it's a wild time. So because we didn't get off the ship, we ended up just having another pool day. My friends that I was with ended up going and doing brunch at the wake. I didn't go with them. I ended up just going and getting a day bed by the pool because it was so early. So I went and had some breakfast from the galley and then went and stole a day bed for the day. We ended up being there. I think I got out there around 9:30, and we didn't come back in until 4. Like, we were there all day, parked ourselves there. It was very relaxing. We made some good friends at the pool. So definitely recommend doing that if you're going to a port where you're not interested in getting off the ship. So for dinner, Cozumel Day, we did Razzle Dazzle. And Razzle Dazzle is one that it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't terrible. Like, and that's kind of the thing with Virgin is the food is not, even if you don't like it, it's still great for cruise food. And it just wasn't my favorite. It was to me, very diner. And I just prefer the other restaurants. Razzle Dazzle is one that if it were me, I would say do Razzle Dazzle for brunch, unless you're not into what the other restaurants have. It's still a great restaurant. It's just not something that I'm gonna be upset if I miss on my next cruise. But doing it on Scarlet Night was fun because the atmosphere in there and like the design and the decor and everything is all red. And so with our Scarlet Night apparel on, it just was super cute. Scarlet Night was one of the other highlights of our trip. It was such a fun night. So many things going on. We didn't get to see everything, but it's definitely something like you don't want to miss. Keep an open mind because there's a lot going on, a lot of different things. But here's just a few clips from our time at Scarlet Night. One tip I will give you for Scarlet Night, if you're saving your bottle of Moet for Scarlet Night, like if you have Shake for Champagne or you have Splash of Romance or any of those things, and you're saving it for Scarlet Night, don't do it in the middle of Scarlet Night because they won't be able to find you on the pool deck. Make sure you get it ahead of time. And then our last sea day, we did another just pool day. Obviously Scarlet Night, we went hard and it was rough. So another day of pool time, and was really needing something healthy. So I tried out the salad bar in the galley, which was really good. And we also discovered the Sun Club Cafe up on the deck above the pool. It's only open during peak times, but great if you're just wanting a healthy alternative to munch on by the pool. After that, we had dinner at the wake, and I don't really remember this. I didn't take many pictures of the food. I'm assuming this is because I was underwhelmed. It's just like, it's a steakhouse, you know, it's not something where it's got a unique concept like the other restaurants. So I think also just because I wasn't feeling great that day, wasn't really into it. So we'll see how I feel after this next trip, but I think I would prefer doing the wake for brunch instead of dinner. And then the next day we had Bimini, so I just went back to the room and chilled. I didn't end up going out to the manor that night, so I missed out on that party and all the shows that day because I wanted to be up and fresh for Bimini and not be able to hang with everybody else. So Bimini day, I got up early and I went to dry dock and got my hair braided because I am not good at braiding my hair and did not want to be on a windy beach with my hair blowing all over the place. So that was super fun. And then we got off. We were one of the first people off the ship since I went and did that so early, and went right out to the beach. Was able to get a chair before the big rush came out. It was a pretty windy day in Bimini, and it was kind of gray and overcast. So keep that in mind if you're traveling around November, early December. You might have a little bit of a gloomy time in Bimini. The food that was included in Bimini was great. They don't have many options. It's just kind of what you see is what you get, but it's still really good, and drinks were easy to get. So definitely recommend stopping by the beach club if you are not doing an excursion on Bimini. So once the pool party started, I was a little underwhelmed by the pool party, which may have just been because it was gloomy. I still had a blast, but it just looked like it was so much more fun in the videos we had watched that we were kind of underwhelmed. So it'll be interesting to see what the weather's like this trip because we're going at a different time of year. We are going in hurricane season this time, so hopefully we don't get rained out of anything or have to skip anything for the bad weather, but we'll see. I'm still really excited to enjoy my time there. So overall, our trip was great. The good outweighs the bad. Honestly, I don't think there was anything that was absolutely terrible. Like, there was nothing to me that I could have complained about. I know my friends had a couple things that they were underwhelmed by too, but the service was great. The crew, the staff and the crew is incredible, and you're gonna have a good time no matter what. Like, if you go in with an open mind, it's gonna be very difficult to find something to complain about, in all honesty. Just go in expecting it to not be like any other cruise you've been on. If you think of it, in my opinion, if you think of it as a luxury yacht instead of a cruise ship, there's gonna be differences because it's a smaller ship. It's run differently than the Royals and the Carnivals. They want you to relax and enjoy your time there. Their focus is on wellness and a little bit of partying. Like, you want to balance it out. So they're not going to be sitting there and announcing when all the activities are starting. You need to use your app for that. I was on my app every hour making sure they weren't adding events and like I wasn't missing out on something. So I know they have changed their processes a little bit from feedback from sailors in the previous years, and they're getting an update at the end of the year. So they definitely take the feedback that you give them at the end of your sailing and will use that in the future. One thing I didn't do this last time that I will be doing this time is keeping track of people's names that we work with, because they really do. When you send in your surveys, if you put their names and you give them a compliment, that gets back to them and they rely on that. So definitely make sure you're keeping track of everyone's names if you have a good experience with them, so that you can use that in your survey at the end of your sailing. Now, there is a couple rumors going around that Razzle Dazzle will be going away, and not sure how true that is. The rumor is that on Scarlet Lady, that's going into dry dock in November, they're changing it out to be an Asian restaurant. There's also a rumor that it's going to be different on every ship. So we'll see if that happens. I think that's a great idea if it does happen, because right now all the ships are the same. The decor may be a little bit of the same, but for the most part, nothing really changes. So it'll be interesting to see if they do go that route, because I like the idea of having at least one different restaurant on each ship and maybe switching it out, because that is gonna drive people to go and try out the other ships. So I'm very excited to see what they're doing in the future. Very excited. I'm almost down to 60 days for this next trip. So can't wait. But that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Feel free, if you are interested in seeing more helpful virgin tips or tricks about cruising or travel vlogs, make sure to like and subscribe below. And as always, if you need help booking your cruise or have any questions, my email and contact information is in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching. Happy cruising.